What's going on, everybody? If we haven't met before, my name is Caleb, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today's video is part 2 of the songwriting process series, and I hope you guys are doing well. If you haven't already, go ahead and watch the first video. This will explain the songwriting process and the framework that I'm using for this video series. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned in to what's going on here. With that being said, just want to give you a brief recap of last week's video where I talked about the framework that we're using for this songwriting process series. Now, as I said in the last video, my name is Caleb. I went to Liberty University where I studied business project management and minored in music. It was there in the project management courses that I learned an acronym that I'm using as the framework for this video. That acronym is I.P.E.M.C. The I stands for initiating, P stands for planning, E stands for executing, M stands for monitoring, and C stands for close the project. Last week, we discussed initiating and planning. And if you want to know more about that, watch last week's video. For today's video, we are going to discuss executing, monitoring, and closing the project. Now, for time's sake, I'm going to put executing and monitoring together. That way we can just save time, and then we'll discuss close the project after that. So, executing and monitoring. If you're thinking about this in a creative way, to me, executing means this is where you are working the plan that you have. And then monitoring is going to be editing all of the creative and creativity that you have put out to make it make sense. Okay. Now, my number one recommendation is after you initiate the project, you need to take some time to plan out what you're doing, right? Once you have a good solid plan that you feel good about, go ahead and start the next process, which would be executing. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm linking the executing and monitoring together, but I'm only doing that because I think it's like two oars. Like on one sense, you have to execute your plan, and then on the other oar, you have to monitor what you're doing, right? So for me, the executing is the fun part, right? This is where you are writing the lyrics, right? You are coming up with the full melody, right? You are making the beat, you're working on the vocals, right? And getting all of that flushed out, right? Now, I recommend that when you are executing your plan to just focus on that. Focus on all the creative things that you can do with the lyrics, with the writing, with the music and the instruments that you use, and the vocal parts and vocal things that you want to emphasize and make important, right? I don't recommend, being creative and then trying to edit that at the same time, right? I know I have tried to do that for the sake of saving time, and that I just ended up frustrated, right? And just wanted to throw the whole song away and just give up on music, right? But that's because I frustrated myself. And so I realized that I needed to pick a day when I was being creative, and I needed to pick a day when I was going to edit what I've done. So when it comes to the music, my number one recommendation with the music is to make, as quickly as you can, make a demo track, right? And a demo track can be keys or guitar, right? Drums, bass, synthesizer, whatever you want to use to make a demo track, right? If the music comes to you, if you're the person where the music comes to you first, then go ahead and make a demo track. That way you can kind of, focus, and get all that out. And then you can move to the next stage with writing the lyrics, right? Now, reason why I say make a demo track and then come back to it is that when you're making a beat, unless you've already know like all right, I know I'm going to use this type of 808, this type of clap, this type of arpeggio, this piano. I'm going to use this thing for the transition. Unless you are already skilled and you know how to do that, like do that, right? But if you are someone like me who is learning how to produce the music that you are wanting to make, you need to make a demo track for yourself so that you have something to listen to, and so something that you can play and then write to. So I think that'll help with that. And then I think the next stage after the demo track is picking the genre, right, that you want the song to be in, and then picking the instruments. Now, for me, I make a lot of like hip hop music, so a lot of my music sounds like rap music, and I'm starting to get into other genres, right? And so with other genres, they use different instruments to emphasize certain things, right? So for me, some key instruments that I like to use now are arpeggiators, right? I enjoy using drums and bass and synthesizers. And then, because I play piano, like you're going to hear that piano, right? You are. It's going to be on every song, whether you hear it or not, right? And then one special instrument that I do like to use, this is my preference, this doesn't have to be yours, but my grandmother, my mom's mom, really loved bells. That's something that I saw my dad use in his music, and so it's something that I use in my music, just to show honor to grandma, and hope that she's tuning in, listening from heaven, and rocking to Amen and all the other songs that I've made that have bells in it. So, but yeah, as you're making your music, you're going to realize that there's different instruments and elements that you want to use, and even like for transitions, right? The genre of EDM, they use a lot of transitions, right? And so learning how to use the risers and different things, right? That's going to like make the song even better. So I hope that helps with the stages with the music. Make your demo track before you like make the final one, and then take some time to really think about what type of sound do you want that song to have, right? The next stage in the executing part is the lyrics, right? So lyrics, I'm not going to tell you how to write lyrics. You have to figure out your way of doing it. For me, I use my phone, I use a journal, I use a piece of paper, I use the notepad and Logic to write down my ideas, right? Like I use a combination of all of them, right? Now, what I would recommend is once you figure out what you want to say and you write the lyrics, that you either have all the lyrics either in your phone or in your DAW or on a piece of paper. That way you can reference it and use it for when you're recording your vocals. So to me, writing the lyrics is always fun because it's a challenge. You have to find a new way to say something, and sometimes it's going to take you some time to really figure out what you want to say, and so that's why the planning part is so important. So make sure you plan so you know what you want to talk about. So, and then the next phase are the vocals. Now there are two ways that you could do vocals, right? You could do them spontaneously, or you can plan them out, right? And I've done both, right? A lot of the songs that I wrote for V2V, a lot of those were on the spot, right? Like the song Current Situation, that was literally on the spot. That was spontaneous. And it worked, and it was wonderful, and it was great, right? At least I think so, right? And then there's another way of doing it, which is planning out how you want the vocals to be, right? And so if you are the type of person that feels like you work best when it's spontaneous, when it's on the fly, and it challenges yourself to like make great lyrics and great vocals, then do that, right? I'm not here to preach to you and tell you that that's wrong. If you feel like that works for you, do that, right? And then on the other end, if you are the type of person that really needs to plan things out and really have an idea of like, okay, this is what I want in each of these pieces, hey, that's fine too, right? I've done a little bit of both. Recently, I have been doing more of the planned out version than the spontaneous part. And my personal reason is I felt like the spontaneous was a lot of fun, but it was chaotic. And I feel like the planned out is a more like it causes me to really have to focus and really pay attention to what I'm doing. So for me, it's fun. I find a lot of value in it. Spontaneous, it's a lot of fun. Being planned out is a lot of work, but it can be fun as well. Either way is fine. I think if you can do both, it's great. But I think the best thing is that you have to find the thing that works best for you. So let me give you an example of what planned out looks like. So I have a new song that's coming out this year. Um, I'm not going to tell you the name of it because I don't want to spoil it. But on this side of the page is the first verse, and on this page it's the second verse. So on here, on the sections, I'm purposely holding it back so you can't see it because I don't want you to see the name. But on here, I have a space in between each lyric in the lines. And on here, I put like if I want a word emphasized, if I want a word dubbed, if I want an ad lib, if I want harmonies, if I want reverb, whatever it is, right? And then the same thing on the second verse. Now, why did I do that? I did that because with this particular song, my goal was that I wanted to make a song that sounds different than every other song that I've made. And quite frankly, it is, right? And so I think that by having that goal and having that idea of the song, it required me to plan it out, right? It's not something that I could just do spontaneous, right? Now, how did I get there? I got there by making a demo track and then bouncing it out and then putting it in my file so I can listen to, right? And then writing to it and then practicing and like trying to figure out how do I want this, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? And then, figuring that out. So to me, I would not have been able to plan out vocals without being spontaneous, without practicing, without really working on the song. So that's why I was saying before, sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes you have to work on the idea, and then as you're working on that, really like try to be as creative as possible, and then later come back, edit, and make it pretty and make it nice and make it sound like the way you want it to sound. Now that I know what I want the music to sound like, and the music sounds like I want it to sound, and I know what I want the vocals to sound like, now I need to execute and make sure that the vocal sounds exactly like I want it to sound, right? And then that's where the monitoring comes in with going through with that particular song. I've tried 3 or 4 different ways of that song, of like, do I want the vocals to sound like this or do I want to sound like that? Do I want to sound loud and passionate or do I want to sound like reserved and quiet, right? All those things, it takes you time to really figure out that. And I think by doing that, they really helped me make the song sound as good as it does. And I'm excited to share it with you guys. Like I said, it took me a while to figure that out, but I feel like I'm better for it. So now the last phase brings us to closing the project. So to me, closing the project means, the music's finalized, the lyrics are finalized, and the vocal production is finalized. And now it's ready to send over to your mixing engineer. So for me, my friend Tony, he is the mixing and mastering engineer for me. And so he has a background, he's extensive background. He's worked in live recordings, he's done conferences, he's done church services, he's done all sorts of things, right? and he also does music, my music and other people's music. So having someone like Tony where you can just get your idea out and then send it over to him, and he takes the song and makes it a song, right? um, when I sent him Amen, when he sent it back to me, man, I tell you, dude, it sounded completely different. He made Amen sound like Amen. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to send this song to him, and all the other songs that I'm working on. So you guys can just hear how special he is, man. He's awesome. So with that, there's the latter part of this video. I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about warnings, and I'm going to talk about key reminders. So with the warnings, right, when doing projects, we all always experience delays, right? And the delays can be your fault, other people's fault, or responsibility, right? And that happens, right? So some delays that I've seen for myself, delays with music, right? For me, I'm learning to produce music, so sometimes it takes me a while to figure out the genre that I'm trying to write in, right, and write for. And the music is I'm not familiar with it, right? I grew up in church, and so a lot of the music that I played on the drums, right? So a lot of my music has a lot of drums, and because I'm a drummer, right? And then it also will have keys, right? And so learning how to use different instruments will take time, right? And hopefully one day I won't necessarily need to produce all my music, and I can work with a producer who can just do all that, and we can work together on that. That I am so looking forward to doing. But yeah, so with that, so the only thing that I can recommend for you guys who are producing and learning how to produce is that if you ever get stuck, to use a reference track, right? And I'll talk more about that in the key reminders. So next is with the lyrics. For me, a lot of delays that have come have been because of writer's block, right? And that goes back to the previous video with planning, right? I know, like, there were times where, like, I had great idea, but I just didn't know where to take it, right? And I was trying to, like, write lyrics to a song I had no idea for, right? Or and what I mean by idea is like a full plan for. So, so if you don't really plan and you're kind of just being spontaneous, you can kind of get stuck on what you're going to talk about. So, that's a definite delay, and the best solution for that is planning it out. The next one is, the vocals. If you're like me, like a creative person, sometimes I overdo on the vocals, and I'm like, oh, let me try this idea. Let me try this idea. Oh, let me try this idea. And at some point, you gotta put a cap on the creativity and tell yourself, like, hey man, you gotta get this song done, right? So, and then a big one is being unsure about your idea. Now, this one's a hard one, right? Because you're the one that has to decide whether this idea is good or it's not good, right? And so, if you're being unsure about something, either one of the things that happen: either you aren't good and you shouldn't be doing this, or you haven't planned what you're trying to do. So, and then the last thing is people, right? If you're working with multiple people, sometimes there can be delays. So just make sure you're communicating your expectations with people, and that way you guys can continue working together. Okay. This last part is key reminders. So my first key reminder is time. Give yourself time to really learn, and give yourself time to really plan things out, right? If you have the time and you can, take some time to really think about what you're doing, do that, right? If you only have 30 minutes, man, you got to be good. You got to be great to get it all done. But if you have time, give yourself time to write out your plan, to, execute on your creativity ideas, to monitor it, right? And then, finish it out. Next thing is Kaizen. So when I was in business school, we learned a term called Kaizen, which is, I was told, is Japanese for continuous improvement. And so that's a mindset that I've applied to, everything I'm doing with music, where it's the music or the lyrics or the vocals or what have you. Even the little things of like how I'm sending the tracks to Tony, right? That matters. So try to improve your process each time. If you get stuck, whether with lyrics or with music, with lyrics, man, go back to your plan. That's what the plan is there for. With music, I recommend using a reference track. That's what I do when I get stuck with music ideas and I don't know how to do something. I go to the genre of music that I'm looking to make a song for, and I listen to it. Learn how to build that beat, right? And learn how to build the music and what instruments do they use and how are they using them and how are the vocals on those particular songs, right? That for me helps out a lot, right? And some other reminders are, when it comes to lyrics, to understand if you are writing to figure out what type of song you're writing, right? If you're writing a pop song that you want a lot of people to sing, then the pop songs are simple and singable songs. They are. They're not complicated. They don't have, 37 verses, right? They have a verse, a chorus, and a verse. And it's like words that you already probably have said already, you just haven't thought about putting them an idea together. So there's formulas online to figure that out. I'm just starting to learn how to write pop music. So, and then if you're making an artistic song, which is code for you have something you want to write about and you want to say what you want to say and put that out, then hey, that's fine, right? But just understand the kind of song that you're making and understand that some people will like it, some people won't. Next one is great songs can cross over to multiple genres, right? So for example, we see what's happening with AI. For those of us that grew up in the early 2000s, right, a lot of the music that we grew up on is now being turned into 1960s soul music, right? And the original songs were already amazing, but now hearing them in a different style just makes you fall in love with the song over and over again. So just remember that, great songs can cross over. So if you're planning to write great songs, it's going to take work, but understand, that's one of the, for me, that's what I think is one of the winning formulas, is that great songs can cross over multiple genres. And then my last thing now, come in, listen. This is me telling you. This is me. My name is Caleb. I'm your friend. You need to finish the song. Okay? Finish the song. Right? If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. If it's great, it's great. Finish the song. Just get it over with. Right? Not just get it over with, but you gotta finish the song, right? People want to hear new music. People want to hear new perspective, right? People are only going to get that if we finish our music. So we've got to finish our music. So this is my encouragement to you. Use this songwriting process. Again, the process we're using is I.P.E.M.C. I stands for initiating, P stands for planning, E stands for executing, M stands for monitoring, and C stands for close the project. And while you're doing that, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you stay tuned in to what's going on here. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.